Hey, I'm Tom Mendola, and let's talk. Today, let's talk about God. What is God? What's the purpose of God? Why do we have this huge, not just a concept, but this huge, overwhelming, life motivation in our lives? God. Think about God and the concepts of it, the wisdom traditions, the religions of the world. From Buddhism, who was a little different from like Christianity, where Jesus was more he saw God. Buddha would say he saw what is. But the idea that Jesus had an experience and turned to his people in his time and spoke of that experience and became recognized as someone who is God or touched God or is directly related to God. And other prophets have come, Mohammed and Allah and the whole idea of God. What does it do? And where did it come from? It came from typically men, having an enlightened experience where they were overwhelmed with God or this vision of what God is, and turned to their people at their time and spoke, what they saw, and being recognized as inspired, whole religions, I guess, came about. And the truth of what they said, the truth of the wisdom traditions is consistent, and it's so simple, kind of. Love something more. There is something more, like love God, and then the next thing is love your neighbor. And that's part of maybe the perennial traditions of what God's about. But why we're talking about this now is because we're at this time in the world and in life where, as we understand our concept of God, it allows us to understand who we really are. It's no longer the old paradigm of we just do whatever the priest or the doctor or the policeman says. Now we understand what these things are all about. Like with the internet and everything, everybody knows everything, which is one of the good news is like all the pieces to the puzzle are in. There are no problems that can't be solved anymore, kind of thing. We can do just about anything. So the idea of God, recognizing that we share a common vision of what God is, even if we're in different religions and different wisdom traditions or practices. I guess the one true test, if a religion or a wisdom tradition is true, is to see if it's tolerant and understanding of others' views and experiences of God. So as we recognize that, and we recognize we're all kind of one under this same, whatever it is, God, divine matrix, which it kind of seems like it is more like the whole idea of karma and dharma. Like there is something going on out there. There's a life out there that we're part of, only part of. And as we get more into all of that, we easily, see this is what like samadhi is about, or bliss in the Christian tradition, where you recognize how alive you are and how connected to all life you are, and kind of how just natural, wonderful, and healthy that is. And the more our ideas of God, and not to say beliefs, because as Buddha said, like belief can only really come from personal experience. If you believe things because of things you've read that make sense, that's kind of experience in the mind, which is different from a full, person, holistic, connection to some truth, which would be through your own personal experience, where you have a full, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual connection to something, and you know the truth of it, rather than reading, a story in a book. So the ideas of recognizing that our concepts of God really, ultimately come from the same place, and there is a one place, there is a something more, that they all do come from, just like the sun radiates and touches everything, good or bad or in between. It's all kind of one under the sun, as they say. So recognizing that, the purpose of the concept of God is to help us find this unity that we really are, and, as we step into a common vision of what that's about, then this unity consciousness easily descends. And as we do that, then peace just becomes self-evident. And then sustainability makes perfect sense. And all we got to do now is celebrate. Nice talking to you.